Hello and welcome to the Join Dota League here on HeflaTV 2. This is going to be a best of two series between Command of 5 and Fraiche or Cafeteria Fresh. I'm not sure exactly what their official name is, but currently we're waiting on one of their players to connect into the game, so hopefully he'll be able to get in without any further difficulties. As for your casters today, I'm going to be Grandis V, and once again I'm going to be joined by Mike Loris.
I don't want to say it, but this might be one of those games again, as it looks like, oh no, 10 seconds left and Lacat decides to finally connect. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just going to call him Cafeteria Fresh. That's what it says on the Join Dota website, so I'm just going to trust in that. And I was just
No,
kicked.
I was too. Everybody was. I think that's a remake. That's a remake, guys.
But he connected. What happened?
I don't know. That was weird. I mean, as soon as they started the lobby, I got kicked from the game and went back to the lobby screen. I had to reconnect manually, so I don't know. Weird stuff going on.
Yeah, we have been kind of cursed lately with teams not showing up, bad server connections, a whole bunch of things. Are we down one spectator? Did someone leave?
Oh, that's what happened. One of the spectators that wasn't supposed to be in the game snuck through, and they had to kick him.
Oh. Oh, that's
Okay.
what he meant by sneaky caster.
Yeah, I
Okay.
thought I thought it was I didn't know what he was talking about at first, but I remember there was this one guy that wasn't supposed to be in the team slot, but he was in the team slot, and he must have just sneaked through because now we're at 4 out of 4.
All right. Well, yeah, I thought he was talking about you because you were the only one who's like a caster and reconnected or something. I didn't realize that it was a lobby issue. But it looks like we're actually in the game, so hopefully that'll be the last hiccup we have in this particular best of two between these two teams. But we're in the initial banning phase right now, and well, there are going to be the usual bans, I think.
Yeah, I can't really see anything too unusual coming up from these two. I don't know. I've seen both of them play fairly recently, but nothing too crazy that I remember. K5 might have had a peculiar pick here or there, but it wasn't in the first couple of picks by any means. So
I've seen Cafeteria Fresh play. I remember they did favor the Enigma very heavily, but I think they were also playing with the full lineup, so that might be the person who is currently not here, that like the Enigma, what have you. But yeah, K5, I have not seen them play, and well, they're playing with three stand-ins, so maybe this isn't a fair showing of what they could do.
I think two of those are normal players for them. I'll go ahead and check,
Uh,
but yeah, as kind of expected, Faceless Void, Doom banned out, and then Razor the first pick from Cafeteria Fresh. But I will go see if they're with their full lineup. I think they're only with one stand-in if they have any at all.
oh yeah, it's only yellow, only lonely.
Yeah,
Everyone else
that's
just
yeah.
Everyone else just wearing the stand-in tag because that makes things really, really clear to everyone. But yeah, the bans are looking fairly normal, and the first pick is also looking fairly normal. Razor is going to be selected for first for the Cafeteria Fresh side, as Viper does get the kick out a little bit earlier than normal. Usually, he's one of the heroes that does get through, but banning him out is not necessarily unheard of.
Yep, the player that Commander 5 are without is Slash Strike. He will be replaced by Lonely for this game. Not sure how that's going to affect their performance, but both teams with one stand-in, this shouldn't be too big of an advantage for either team. As far as the first picks for Commander 5, I would not be surprised by Death Prophet Shadow Shaman, Earthshaker, Skywrath Mage, Shadow Shaman. I don't know. Pick two.
Brewmaster.
Yeah.
The checklist will be completed, and well, I'm always a little bit surprised whenever one of those heroes that is always either first banned or first picked manages to slip through to the second pick phase. But for now, Shadow Shaman, ooh, Mirana, you're halfway there.
Yeah, I don't know. Murana combos decently well with Shadow Shaman, no, not the best support to pair with it. Honestly, I think they could have waited on the Murana till a little bit later and pick up their either other support or something that's a little bit more high priority currently. But just feeling that they really want that Murana this game, and honestly, it's not a bad first pick. It's very versatile and works well. We'll have to see if it's going to pay off for them.
Yeah, even though I'm sure they have something in mind as to how they're going to lane this Mirana, whether it is a core or support, the beauty of picking up Mirana early is that you can kind of play it by ear. Like after the second pick from the enemy, after the second ban phase, you get to decide whether or not you're going to be sticking to your plan or if you're going to be changing it up. So they will have that flexibility moving forward. However, I would say as far as raw power level is concerned, Mirana is not as far up as the Skywrath Mage or the Brewmaster.
Yeah. I mean, her strength really is in her versatility, and that you can lane her practically in any position with the exception of, I don't know, really hard support where you don't get anything at all. But yeah, I don't know. I think getting something that fills more of a niche role could have benefited Commander 5 maybe a little bit more. We'll just have to see. Honestly, I would have liked to see them pick up the Skywrath Mage for themselves. It would have given them good setup for the Shackles, and then they could go back for the Mirana and make that their tri-lane if they so desired. But for now, we're just going to have to see the next couple bans. Invoker, Death Prophet banned out. No big surprises.
And Earthshaker, we have a Tidehunter now. Brewmaster, though, still in the pool. We haven't actually been seeing a lot of love for the first pick Brewmaster of like today and yesterday, but I mean, obviously that doesn't really mean much in the grand scheme of the Dota 2 metagame. It is still in the pool for Commander 5, and though it will be up against a Skywrath Mage, it might be what they want to go for. I don't know. Picking a Brewmaster into Skywrath is always a little bit risky.
Yeah, for sure. It definitely changes the way you have to play the hero. It's not reliable to get off the clap first, but they will go for it. I think it's still a really solid pick. Just gives them a lot of teamfight control. Razor, you can just kind of ignore him for the first portion, or if you have enough damage in the other heroes, you can just focus him down with the boulder toss, but more often than not, you're probably just going to cyclone him up in the air and focus down the supports to start things off, and then clean up the Razor a little bit later on. I think if Brewmaster is available for them to take, I still think it's a really solid hero. Cafeteria Fresh, we'll go for that Enigma that you were talking about earlier. So, yeah, just really prioritizing the hero, although not a whole lot else to combo with it as far as big teamfight stuff is concerned. Enigma on his own just changes the way you have to approach teamfights.
It's definitely not too late to pick up some team fight as well, though a lot of it is currently out of the pool in Earthshaker, Faceless Void, Invoker, Ravage from the Tidehunter. Lots of the big teamfight ultimates are down, or at least lots of the conventional ones are out, though. Enigma, still a pretty good hero versus Brewmaster. With that black hole, you could shut down any attempts from Commander 5 to do pretty much anything. So Brewmaster and Centaur, both melee heroes, will both get hit pretty hard from that black hole. And, well, although Commander 5 do have Shadow Shaman and Mirana to potentially cancel off a black hole, the disables that they have are a little bit difficult to land on an Enigma if the Enigma's in a decent position. Like, you gotta walk around the black hole for a hex, and then you might get pulled in, and the arrow line might not be there. Stuff like that to worry about.
Yeah, I think the most reliable way the Commander 5 actually have to break the black hole is if the Brewmaster gets off his split first, then they have the Cyclone to take it out. But that's going to make sure, or it's going to require the Brewmaster to split up his Brewlings quite far in the team fights if he wants to make sure that they're going to be able to get that one off. As far as Cafeteria Fresh, they go ahead and pick up the Clockwork as their pick. It's going to be really good at picking off the Shadow Shaman, although the Mirana has Leap, still fairly good against her. Brewmaster, Clockwork's not the greatest. You can't stop him from getting his split off with the Battery Assault. If you have the Skywrath Mage, however, that's going to be a completely different story. With the Clockwork Skywrath Mage combination with the Mystic Flare as well as the Ancient Steel into the cogs, that's going to be pretty much a guaranteed hero on any of these heroes on the side of Commander 5, and, well, the Lich being no exception there. I'm okay with this Clockwork pick as long as he's best buddies with the Skywrath Mage.
Yeah, with the Lich pickup, he's very vulnerable to the Skywrath Mage combination as well. If you get a hookshot on the Lich, or if you get a hookshot on the Shadow Shaman, then, well, they're both just going to be eaten up really, really quickly. But Cafeteria Fresh, as it stands right now, they're a little bit light on the damage end. Your supports can do a little bit of damage to the Skywrath Mage and the Enigma, but scaling later on, they're going to be, I think, falling a little bit behind unless they pick up someone big, because right now, Commander 5, they're very heavy on the spell damage and the team fight, especially with that Chain Frost as the last pick. Actually, like, kind of both teams, fairly even as far as how much damage they could put out. They have, all things considered, a fairly similar lineup to one another.
I kind of want to see the Gyrocopter here from Cafeteria Fresh. I think it would give them a lot of good AoE damage to combo with the Enigma, as well as a hero that can do well early on. With the Skywrath Mage, up against a Centaur Warner, they might be able to isolate him with a slow and potentially take him out. But just at the very least, it gives them a hero that's going to scale well later on, give them a lot of damage, but they go for the Morphling in a completely different route. We've seen the synergy before with the Skywrath Mage and Morphling, but it can be absolutely dirty if you get off to an early start.
And that will pretty much secure the fact that Cafeteria Fresh, should the game come to a late stage, 40-plus minutes, Morphling is going to be the most dominant hero on the map. Mirana, Shadow Shaman, Lich are all vulnerable to Shotgun if Morphling does end up going for that route. And even if he doesn't, like, who's he going to be killed by later on? It's got to be, like, Brewmaster throwing up into the air and then Commander 5 killing everyone else from Cafeteria Fresh, and then they focus Morphling last. They don't have the amount of sustained damage that they really need to burst down a Morphling. However, if they get good initiation on him, they do have a chance of killing him.
Yeah, you kind of have to get a long arrow or a blink hex initiation from the Shadow Shaman. But if Morphling gets farmed and gets an early BKB or Lincoln Sphere, are you okay, Mike Loris?
Yes. Thought I
Okay,
muted the mic, but
okay.
apparently I missed.
Yeah, it happens every once in a while. But to start out this game, we will have, on the Radiant side, Command 5, as I'm lagging out as far as server is concerned, this could be problematic as the game goes through, but at least for now it is smoother. But Command 5 on the Radiant side with Master Risk, taking up the Shadow Shaman, Van Art playing on the Centaur, Warner Jesse playing on the Lich, the stand-in Longley going to be playing on the Brewmaster with Matris, taking up the Mirana.
All right, on the Cafeteria Fresh side, we got Baron heading down towards the bottom lane as the Morphling following up behind him is Black Dynamite on the Enigma. Maybe a solo lane Enigma. Haven't seen that in quite a while, but we'll see in a little bit. Clinch is going to be playing the Skywrath Mage. SMN is on the Razor, and that leaves the Clockwork to be played by Lacat. He's wearing like the chicken helmet.
Yep. I would expect that to be a solo offlane Clockwork or have him soloing the safe lane with Enigma just going straight up jungle. With his starting items, that's probably not what you do a solo offlane with. That looks like a pretty standard jungling fare to me. But the 5-man rotation coming out from K5 to start us off, they might catch out the Clockwork here. If Lacat is not suspecting this, which as he's standing, he's not. There's no boots on the Shadow Shaman, so he'll be just fine. Not even going to be close. Yeah, I'm lagging, like, really bad.
All right, do you want to just reconnect? And, well, we still have a couple seconds before this game is actually going to shape up, so...
I'll try
Uh,
that. If something does break out, it's a radio cast from Mike Loris.
Yeah, I'll take care of that. But it looks like Black Dynamite, the Enigma player for Cafeteria Fresh, is currently just chilling right on the tower. Just going to do a little bit of the usual Eidolon denying. And then we're going to be seeing where this Enigma really wants to go towards. If he goes towards his friendly jungle or goes towards the enemy jungle. As it stands right now, we have a dual lane for the Dire Cafeteria Fresh and Baron on the Morphling and Clinch in the Skywrath Mage, going up against currently a 2v2 lane. It's actually going to be full-on dual lanes for the K5 side. So Morphling, Skywrath Mage versus Shadow Shaman, Mirana. I got to give the slight edge there to the Cafeteria Fresh side. The Skywrath Mage can put out so much sustained harassment, and if they get an opening, if the enemies drop a little bit low, then they could make initiation at the drop of a hat with a concussive shot with a waveform in. Of course, that will mean that Lacat is going to be a little bit of it in for a tough time up on top lane, but Clockwork is used to having stuff like this. And instantly, he's going to go for initiation onto Juicy, who, with the double damage rune, got a little bit
This
on
is
this.
not looking.
Won't get, but won't be very low. Really too
From my end, I just timed out from the server, and I don't know, stuff's not looking good.
All right. Well, you just let me know when you're back in. I'll continue doing the whole radio thing. Unfortunately, there's no way around that because Volvo has to get their shit together. But it looks like Juicy the Lich has rotated into the mid lane where SMN has stolen a little bit of damage. It's a level 3 Razor who is doing very, very well versus the level 2 Brewmaster. Razor has a creep score advantage, an 8 for 2 versus the only 2 for 0 of the Brewmaster. However, now it looks like K5, they're going to, well, get the kill onto Clinch. He got a little bit too far out of position, and they did manage to tag him with an arrow as well as the shackles as Clinch. I don't really know why he was in the Dire jungle. He was near the pole camp, trying to mess with the pole, I suppose, but going 1v2 versus Mirana and the Shadow Shaman is never really what you want to do as such a soft hero as the Skywrath Mage. That, of course, will give a pretty nice lead for this dual lane of K5, as they are going to be able to apply some substantial pressure to the Morphling. Clinch is back in this lane, but it's only a level 1 Skywrath Mage, whereas the Shadow Shaman off that kill is now level 3. They will throw an arrow after the Morphling. Morphling will dodge that one by moving slightly to the right, and he'll be just fine as Clinch does return. However, the level advantage is now very, very firmly into K5's favor in this bottom lane. So this lane so far is going very poorly for Cafeteria Fresh. Their top lane is going a lot better than I would expect, but still really poorly as the Centaur Warrunner for K5 is just free farming, and the Clockwork is more or less backed up to his tier 1 tower because he can't get close enough. There's a Lich there. Fortunately for Cafeteria Fresh, they do have the Enigma just working away in the jungle, but yeah, a little bit of aggression from K5. They bring down the Cafeteria Fresh's bottom lane to very, very low amounts of HP. They don't secure any kills, but they do make sure that the Skywrath Mage has to actually go all the way back to the base. So Cafeteria Fresh's bottom lane is going to continue not going well for them, and then they won't have any rotations in. I mean, SMN, he has his hands full going up against the Brewmaster as the Razor, and the Enigma is just in Cafeteria Fresh's own jungle, and he's being harassed even by Juicy's Lich, going to try to kill off his Eidolons as much as possible, and he will be successful in doing so. Even Black Dynamite resorting to denying his own Eidolons. It's a sad betrayal right there, and well, you don't really have many options as Enigma because there are many heroes in his jungle, at least one more than he's usually used to.
Yeah, really sorry about this. Dota crashed. I have no idea what's going on. My temperature on my computer is fine. Like, yeah, like, nothing's really out of the ordinary. So for now, I'm trying to get back into this game as fast as I can. It's just not looking great.
All right, well, let's hope you could eventually get back in, because I don't know, radio doesn't seems a little bit outdated to me, but I'm just gonna continue onward with it as more aggression on the bottom lane. They're trading a couple hits here and there, though the Mirana is out of mana. She will get waveformed upon instantly. The Baron Morphling will get hexed up, however. That'll stymie any aggression possibilities from Cafeteria Fresh as Clinch taking some pretty serious right clicks. Mirana has a Wraith Band and is one Blades of Attack away from picking up a set of Phase Boots for herself. Once she has that, the damage advantage on this Mirana will be huge versus the Morphling and huge versus the Skywrath Mage, who is currently sitting at 2 armor with the Ring of Basilius Aura, but that's about it. So Phase Boots will mean that Mirana can pretty much walk down the Skywrath Mage all by herself, which is going to be a sticky situation for the Cafeteria Fresh side unless they bring someone down there. The person who's probably going to come down there is the Clockwork, because he is almost at his level 6 mark, currently at level 5.5 up on the top lane. A teleportation down might be able to kill off the Mirana, though they don't even have Ancient Seal yet on the Skywrath Mage because he's only level 3. They need the Silence if they want to kill off that Mirana, or just a waveform in, but the waveform misses onto the Mirana. Leap coming in big there as she keeps herself alive. Shadow Shaman has actually left the lane, is back in base. He's only level 3 himself, but he does have 1/1/1 in his skill build, so he's pretty versatile right now. Mirana, she will use her Majesty Charge as Cafeteria Fresh trying to make good on their numerical advantage down in the spot lane, but they just can't kill this cat. And now the Shadow Shaman's going to come in with a salve. Mirana's going to get juiced up back to full HP. All the aggression from Cafeteria Fresh going to lead to absolutely nothing. Centaur is meantime farming up a Storm, as per Centaurs usually do. He's almost at level 6, and the cat is less than half HP. If he gets stampeded and hoof stomped, he will just die solo to the Centaur, so he's got to watch himself. Though the Clockwork does have a bottle, and he now has hit at level 6 mark himself. In the meantime, SMN, he's going to get split upon. He's going to steal a lot of damage away from the Earth Brewling, so he might save himself from that. He's bottling up as he does run away, but another rock will be thrown. Razor dropping to 50 HP, now 3 HP, and now will go down. Lonely will get the solo kill versus that Razor. And are you back in this game?
I am, but it's so weird. I'm not dropping frames, so I don't think it's my internet problems, but it's still pretty jerky. Like, I don't know. We'll see. It's good for now, and it's definitely watchable. I just got those last couple of kills, but yeah, I missed the first 5 minutes of this game, so we have a hookshot onto the Lich Jussie, going to be isolated inside those cogs and brought down very easily by Lacat. Nothing happening there. I believe that was our first hookshot of the game.
Yeah, Clockwork just recently hit his level 6 mark, but Lonely is doing very well versus this Razor, all things considered. Usually you wouldn't expect a Razor to die versus a Brewmaster like that, though now the Brewmaster is level 8. He will have a substantial advantage and edge in this lane, but meantime, bottom and top, we're going to be seeing the teams kind of scrape against each other as the cat taking a good amount of damage. Still, the Centaur ultimate hasn't been used, but now that it's open, the bottom lane is a lot more dangerous for Cafeteria Fresh.
Yeah, I don't know, a lot of harass being traded across the map, but for now, nobody has actually died, as Razor's actually taking a lot of damage from Lonely, but now with the static link going his way, he's going to be just fine with the bottle. Will be back up as Mirana is actually going to be the one to get the kill down in bottom. Master Risk did rotate in here, and now with the Strength Dwarf, he's going to be just fine as the Morphling. He's going to get hexed up at a double kill for Clinch.
Yeah, the Mirana just caught out because Cafeteria Fresh recognized that the Shadow Shaman was away from the lane for just 1 second, and the Shadow Shaman was actually wrapping around in order to get a gank on the Cafeteria Fresh lane, and well, he was just a little bit too slow. Mirana got silenced, got a whole bunch of damage dumped on her, and she dropped in a very quick hurry. But in the meantime, SMN is in a little bit of trouble Rotation coming in from Juicy as well as Centaur. They have Stampede. There's the Frost Blast, but a hook shot onto Lonely. They're going to try to kill off this Brewmaster. He's trapped in the cogs. SMN can dish all the damage. He will successfully bring down the Brewmaster, and Centaur is in there for a stomp and a two-man double edge. It looks like no, it'll actually be canceled. SMN's still alive at 30 HP, and the Centaur Warner will get Malefist. Rotation in from Black Dynamite. They will kill off that hero, and Juicy, just barely managing to dodge the Plasma Field as he does escape at less than 150 HP. Clockwork has a Rocket Flare. He will tag Juicy once. Is he going to go for it again? We'll see. Juicy, you might just be dead here.
I don't know. It's just going to be a straight-up Rocket Flare. No hookshot for another 30 seconds, so Lich, I think he's going to be fine. He's waiting it out. He doesn't have a TP scroll. If this lands, it is going to be the saddest Lich you've ever seen. So, is he going to shoot it? He's going to shoot it. Where's it gone?
Oh.
That's a butt clench moment for the Lich.
That was so close. That was very well played by the Clockwork, but unfortunately not enough as the bottom lane. Initiation onto Master Wrist. They're going to blow him up instantly. Level 4 waveform, plus the Ancient Seal amplification. Now they're going to try to go for the Mirana. She does have Leap still, and she will be forced to use it, as SMN also does come into this bottom lane. But Cafeteria Fraiche, they have a really rocky start down bottom, but suddenly getting a couple kills in this very soft lane of Shadow Shaman Mirana. This Morphling waveform doing 325 damage base, plus the Ancient Seal amplification, almost like brings down the Shadow Shaman to 50% just with that one skill.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of one of the risks that you do when you have an Enigma on your team. Your early lane phase is going to be harmed a little bit, but I don't know, it's kind of paying off for them, especially with this Enigma getting so much out of his jungle as well as being involved in 2 kills. He's going to be at the very top of the network chart, just above the Morphling. So for now, he is going to start roaming towards top. It looks like he's just going to rush straight towards that BKB with an Ogre Club already in his inventory. This is probably going to be one of the fastest. Oh, yep, they caught out the Centaur there, and with the Skywrath Mage Mystic Flare, an easy pickoff for the likes of the Clockwork and Skywrath Mage. Enigma wasn't even necessary for that rotation.
And Clockwork just ran up and gave the Centaur a hug. He had the hook shot, but he was holding on to it because the Centaur was in a very awkward situation in between the lane and that hard pull camp. So Lacat still has his hook shot, still has his battery assault, and he's looking for more as Lonely in the mid lane. If he gets silenced, he will be killed off. But that silence doesn't come off, then at the very least they'll be able to force out the split. But they're definitely going to look to kill off this Brewmaster. It'll be a tough one. Actually, the Clockwork going to run into Mirana. Even a tougher one. He gets the hook shot in, but the leap down, Mirana's going to be just fine from that. Clinch is fairly low on mana. Looks like they did drop a Mystic Flare, but it ended up missing, I think. No, that was still cooldown from top.
Yeah. So they didn't have that for 30 seconds when they were going in, just coming off of cooldown. About now, just a couple more seconds left on that one. So yeah, a fairly unlikely kill on the Brewmaster anyway. But in the end, nobody's going to get caught out entirely in the mid, as Sleepaway will keep Mirana safe. In the absence of the Morphling, who has rotated towards top, the bottom tier 1 tower is going to take a little bit of pressure from K5, although they're not the fastest pushing lineup, especially without the Shadow Shaman wards, which are still about a third a level away.
Once he has that, then they could think about taking these towers down. They brought it down to half HP, but that was versus no heroes on the Cafeteria Fraiche side. Baron, I think he probably could have stayed down here to look to fight a little bit longer, but with the Cat now active in this game, they don't need Morphling to fight because they have the Clockwork to do all the fighting. And if SMN teleports down here, they could be really easy cleanup. But Ukai gonna get hexed up as he does give Master Risk a hug. Instantly, the Shackle will be silenced. He drops the cogs, unfortunately. Won't really lead to anything, but he got the kill nonetheless. So just a little bit mana wasted. He's gonna be just fine with that. Has a hook shot now. Battery assault's in 10. He could look to get even more. If he catches this Lich, that'll be a free kill.
Yeah, this Clockwork is absolutely taking over this game. 4-0 and 1 on Lacat. I don't know, once he got that hookshot, he's just come online in a big way, and I don't know, making some good stuff happen around the map. Skywrath Mage is not there around him, and I'd like to see them meet up sooner rather than later. He does not have mana, though, so he's going to need to refill before they join back up. And even bottle charges from the Clockwork really wouldn't help him that much there, as Skywrath Mage, one of the most mana-intensive supports there are. There is?
He is the I don't know. This ain't the SATs. I don't know. But Clockwork on the bottom lane, he will hookshot in, but the tower's already fallen. Now the Mystic Flare, no cogs needed. Master Risk will be brought down by Lacat. However, dropping pretty low himself. 30 HP. He will go down to one more Mirana arrow. Now Clinch, a little bit of an awkward situation as he's dropping very low. But here comes Black Dynamite. Has a black hole. Doesn't want to use it. Chain Frost though. It will not bounce to Clinch, but Mirana will find the Skywrath Mage. Silence and Arcane Bolts though. Clinch still alive. He's still living, but he's not living any longer. Now the leap away from Mirana escapes at less than 30 HP. Cafeteria Fraiche, they lose a tower. They take 1 kill. They take 2 kills. But in the end, it was a small win for K5.
Yeah. I don't know. Had they gotten that kill on the Mirana, it would have been a lot closer. But yeah, at the end of the day, they get the tower and they trade at least evenly on in the kills, if you count the one beforehand. But yeah, this Enigma, he's going to have his this BKB very quickly. He's not forced to go for the mechanism because Razor has already completed that one. So at this situation, it's either Blink Dagger or BKB. And with the Clockwork to initiate, he doesn't really need the Blink Dagger either. So yeah.
Top lane, Baron's going to get blinked upon. He will waveform out and start the strength more if this guy is going to survive, as now the Mystic Flare is dropped. Baron is going to still be poked at by Master Risk as well as Juicy, but Lacat is now in. Gets hit with an arrow, however, stuck in place. He's going to get some stars dropped on him, and he will drop, but Master Risk will also be the trade. Here comes SMN and Lonely from the back end. The clap will land onto Baron as well as Clinch. Lonely does not have any mana for a split, however. This could be a Brewmaster kill. SMN is going to launch the mech and will keep Clinch alive, but another jump forward from the Centaurs. He does survive one more right click from Baron, who's doing very little damage due to all the strength morphing. Now Baron, alone in the corner, is maxed out in strength. He does no damage. He has a lot of HP, but he is completely trapped. He's stuck like a rat, and that's going to be an easy 4 kill for K5. Centaur does escape. What a fight for K5.
Absolutely, just a really awkward place for Cafeteria Fresh to initiate into. They got their Clockwork caught out at the very beginning of that, and then they didn't have anything really to follow that up. Enigma was nowhere to be found. He does have his BKB completed, but I don't know. Yeah, as they get the shackles onto the Clockwork behind there with the follow-up arrow, he's going to be so dead. Lacat can't get off a single spell. Just going to fall flat on his face. Well, yeah, Serpent Words for a pick-off like that, it's decent. Although his spree was already taken by Mirana down in bottom. His Mirana ultimate has been used. Potentially looking for a wraparound here. Will they be able to find the Scarlet Mage to stop? Going to be cancelled by the Centaur Warner, but the double edge and the damage is just too much. Well, Enigma's hanging around. They drop a sentry on the ground. It will spot out this ward, which will be dewarded mostly by the creeps. But yeah, that's the damage for now.
The really weird thing about that top fight is that they didn't even use Chain Frosts. They didn't even use the Serpent Wards, nor did they use the Panda Split. Somehow they just outvalued Cafeteria Fresh. I mean, dropping Morphling all the way down to like less than 100 HP to start things off is really good, especially since for the duration of that fight he was doing like 30 damage a pop because he was maxed out in strength. So he wasn't actually a factor in that fight, and Cafeteria Fresh without that Morphling with a whiffed Skywrath Mage ultimate, they actually don't have much damage because SMN, he couldn't get in there to steal any.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, okay. Clockwork just getting caught out in mid. He has the cogs on the ledge, but not going to save you there. Yep. One of the downsides of cogs is to set you up very easily for those arrows and just getting outnumbered in heroes.
Lonely's going to wrap around, has Clap still available, and if he sees Clinch, that'll be a very easy kill for the Brewmaster. He's just going to walk up and Clap. Wow, Clinch, are you sleeping, bro? Wake up. Lonely, though, going to get Mystic Flare dropped really low. There's the Chain Frost. Will not bounce a single time, but they'll get the kill regardless. Now Black Dynamite is here with the Black Hole onto 2, but it won't actually do anything. SMN going to steal and do a little bit of damage. He will kill off the Centaur, but now rocked up underneath the tier 1 tower. The Brewmaster still going strong as SMN is going to try to run his way out of here. Another rock is going to be available soon. Morphling thrown up into the air in the meantime. Where is this Clockwork? He needs to come back in. He's back in, and Lonely now trapped under the tier 2 tower. He's going to be brought down by Lacat as the Morphling will secure the kill onto the Shadow Shaman. Mirana's the only one to escape from that engage. This game is just so weird in how these fights are turning out.
It's an absolute bloodbath, almost hitting 2 kills a minute. The tier 1 tower still stands as the Serpent Wards weren't focusing it down during that engagement, and I think all said and done that was a 4 for 4.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Clockwork to open things up. Clockwork dying to open things up is never a great way to start, but hell, he resurrected and came back to get a kill, so could be a lot worse if Cafeteria Fresh, I suppose.
Yeah. I don't know, that was the first usage of the BKB Black Hole. Really didn't accomplish much. He caught all the Brewlings, but yeah, there just wasn't enough follow-up damage for it. I mean, there's really not that great AoE damage to combo with it anyway. They have a waveform over the top of it in the Skywrath Mage Mystic Flare, but that's spread between the targets, so it really doesn't do all that much at the end of the day. So it looks like they're looking for a fight in mid. They throw a flare for the extra vision. They have an arrow. Not going to be way off the mark. So for now, that's going to be it, as both teams are just kind of hanging around mid.
I think this is a fight that Cafeteria Fresh should want to fight because they are not going to be going up against Chain Frost. They do have to worry about a Stampede, but they don't have to worry about a split. So the ultimate advantage should be in Cafeteria Fresh's favor as Clockwork. He does have a Force Staff as well, so he could put someone in the cogs and then let the Skywrath Mage work his magic
Oh.
there, but wrap around. Lonley is invisible, wants in. They have a Sentry Ward dropped, however. They will see absolutely everybody here. So no surprises here. Lonley trying to get the tower kill, but he actually gets denied from him, as they will stampede to retreat. Master Risk, why are you going in? It's because the Centaur also went on Lacat, but now we're asking Master Risk will drop his wards, but instantly he'll be focused down. He's not going to do anything in this fight. He's already dead. SMN going to get clapped, though, by Lonley, and now the split will happen. Razor trying to bottle up, but he doesn't have enough mana for a mech. He needs to get some more mana, but I don't think he get it. He's going to get focused by the Brewlings, and he will be brought down. No mech in that fight, but it's so far a 3-for-1, as still the Cafeteria Fresh side fighting pretty well, as the Brewmaster going to be focused down. He will try to kill off Black Dynamite in the meantime, but they will follow this Earth Brewling as he does try to blink out. Concussive Shot will follow him and land. There is another waveform in just a couple of seconds. Now the hook shot from the Clockwork in another 3 seconds. Lonley, I don't know if he's going to escape from this one, but it looks like Cafeteria Fresh, they will let him go.
Yeah, at the beginning of the... No, they won't, as the hookshot from long range clips onto Lonley, and he's gonna die one way or another. No split available to save him there. And, well, Lacat, that first hookshot of that team fight landed squarely on the back of the Razor, and also without mechanism available in that fight, that could have gone a lot better for Cream Fresh. But yeah, still, all said and done, I think that was a 4-for-1 trade, potentially 2, in the favor of CF.
Yeah, it was just a 4-for-1 if I'm looking at the stream, so it should be a 4-for-1 in total. So very well fought by them, but Clinch does catch an arrow with his face. Let's see if there's any follow-up. Blue is coming around from the side, and Lich Chainfrost is going to be pretty good here. He's going to get silenced, though. Stampede as he tries to escape, and Lacat's going to jump forward, try to secure the kill on this Lich. The battery assault, as actually Juicy walks back into it. What are you doing, Juicy? He's going to get focused down by the creeps of all things, and Lacat, he's going to try to escape. He has a hookshot, but there's no one to hookshot to. Try to get to his creep wave. Maybe he'll make it out. Hookshot. Spider-Man. Escape. The arrow's flying after him.
Is he gonna die?
There it is.
Oh!
Got him.
Got him, indeed. Oh, yeah, that hookshot. Unfortunate. They got the tier 1 tower down in bottom in the meantime while all that was happening. Now putting some damage on the tier 2. Brewmaster is there with split coming off of cooldown in about 5 seconds. So I think for now that'll be the push deterred. Yeah, I don't know, this fight, this game has just been all over the place. It's very hard to anticipate what's actually going to happen as these team fights just kind of sprawl out across the map, and all these little mini engagements. Both teams just playing very aggressively whenever they have their cooldowns online.
I think the crucial thing to take away, though, is the fact that Cafeteria Fresh, they have a Morphling, and he's been farming, not the best, but they have a Morphling. K5, you would expect their lineup to have some sort of substantial advantage right now, but that's just not the case. Cafeteria Fresh, they have the lead in gold and experience, and they also have the better late game. So if they keep taking fights like this and, you know, keeping fairly even with the kill score advantage, then come late game, the Morphling is going to be the most dominant hero on the map because, well, the rest of the team, they're holding down the fort right now, and K5, they're just not getting enough at this stage where their heroes should be stronger.
Yeah, well, in a little bit of a lull in the action, I'll go ahead and take a look at the graphs as gold is at 7,500 in favor of Cafeteria Fresh, and then the experience also 5,000 in their favor, although dipping down. But yeah, that is where it's going to settle down. So definitely not unsurmountable, but it's still a solid lead, and with their lineup, I think that Cafeteria Fresh are going to be happy with taking this one late. Yeah, Morphling will eventually be the scariest hero on the map, and then you can't underestimate a Razor as well as Enigma late game. Razor, just the ability to mow down towers if he gets an Aghanim Scepter Refresher and something along those lines. And then Black Hole is just something that's so scary for K5 to deal with, especially when he has the BKB on. There's only one way they can use to cancel it, and that's the Lich Chainfrost with quite a long cooldown. I don't know, it's going to be unlikely that they'll be able to reliably stop the Black Hole from happening.
Looks like we might be going in for another round, though. Brewmaster does have a split available, just needs to get his Blink Dagger not cancelled by SMN's Plasma Field, and well, there's 3 heroes in the mid lane for K5, but it looks like they're going to dissolve that pretty quickly as they're going to farm their Mirana a little bit more. This Mirana is getting a lot more than the Morphling, about 1,000 more net worth on her, so it's pretty nice that Juicy does get caught up with the Cog combo into Mystic Flare. Hookshot being used, that's completely worth it. That Lich did not stand a chance.
Absolutely not. Point blank hookshot into that Skywrath Mage ulti, died in just a fraction of a second. There's nothing that Lich could have done in that situation. And now they're going to go straight into Roshan, but this isn't the fastest Roshan by any means. If they have the Eidolons for one of their lane creeps, that could help assist with the tanking as well as the damage. But for now, it's going to be very unlikely that K5 are going to do very much of anything. I don't know, I think that they could fight inside the Roshan pit, but they'd have to commit a lot to it, and I'm not sure they know what's going on either.
This is a very slow, very dangerous Roshan, but it looks like it won't really matter in the end as top lane Clinch does teleport right into a Centaur and then just gets demolished. I don't really know why he did that. Still SMN and Baron are trying to kill off Roshan, but they offer up a Skywrath Mage as a distraction. They lose him in the tower. They will inevitably take the Roshan, but is this worth it? Because they have to come right up to the top lane because K5, they still have the Serpent Wards. They're not going to stop at the tier 1. They're going to keep going.
Yeah, I don't know. That was a very awkward tactical feed coming up from Skywrath Mage, and there's your Serpent Wards. The counter push comes out, but he's going to get shackled under the tower. He does have the Aegis, so it looks like he's going to lose that to start this fight off. Oh no, we have a hookshot available from the Clockwork, but he hasn't thrown it out just yet as Razor comes back. And, well, I think that's going to be about it. No, the split on the backlines. He's trying to make some havoc, but he hasn't thrown out any spells just yet. The Eidolons are there, and they're doing a decent amount of damage to the Fire Bruling, but that's about it. As well, he'll rejoin himself, and his Blink Dagger will be cancelled. He should be fine and blinks away to the rest of his team. Razor still doing a little bit of a dance up in the air, and tower dropped to about half health. And, I don't know, in the end, K5 should be fairly happy with how that went down. They gave away the Roshan, sure, but they got a tier 1 tower as well as half damage on the tier 2, as well as taking the Aegis immediately. So yeah.
They also pulled out the 9-second BKB charge of the Enigma. Just the Brewmaster being in that area will force that out, as now they're going to look to initiate as the hookshot does fly out. However, the Mirana will leap out of there safely. SMN will steal damage now from Banart. Another arrow will come in. SMN dropping pretty low, already used the mech. But now the Chain Frost will fly through. Let's see how lucky the bounces are. Lacat is shackled up and Lonely gonna jump forward for a 2-man clap. They're going to clean up everyone. Triple kill for this Lich. Baron as well as Black Dynamite still in this fight, but they're not going to want to stick around. Black Dynamite will be double-edged. That's 4 for 1 in this engagement so far. And K5, that's the lane, that's the power that I want to see from their team comp at this stage. And, well, it certainly came through big as they take a huge team fight.
Yeah, for sure. Almost tying up the kill score, 21-22. And after that, K5 should be fairly happy with how this game is panning out for them. With the Mirana that's sitting at about 1,500 gold ahead of this Morphling. For now, they're probably the ones that are in control of this game. This is really where they're going to start shining. The Morphling, he has a Lincoln, sure, that's great and all. He's probably not going to die. But even then, with just a Lincoln Sphere, Morphling isn't the scariest hero. It really needs a shotgun and maybe something on top of that to really become a potent threat. And so the tier 2 in mid is going to be left uncontested, as without the Enigma there to defend, I don't think they'll try for it. Blink forward by the Centaur, but going to be instantly silent. Skywrath Mage ulti avoided by 4-staff. He's still going to take a lot of damage. It actually dies to the Plasma Field because of that extra amp damage. So in the end, Centaur for tier 2 is the trade.
That was literally right on the edge of the Plasma Field. Plus it was amplified by the Skywrath Mage, so, you know, extra 45% damage on already a very high damage nuke in that Plasma Field will bring down a Centaur, because Centaur, though he is a tanky hero inherently, doesn't actually have any defensive items. He has purely mobility, which saved him from the Mystic Flare, which is great, but, you know, once the spells are actually thrown and they connect on the Centaur, he's not going to last very long. So it is ultimately 21 versus 23, as Cafeteria Fresh still with a slight kill lead, but not the greatest series of events. The Clockwork Initiation onto the Mirana is probably the worst thing that could happen for Cafeteria Fresh, because you can't lock her down unless the Skywrath Mage is literally right next to the Clockwork and there with the Silence, and that's a little bit hard to have happen because Mirana will just Manta Style, split out the Silence, and then leap out of there. They have to go for someone else with a Mystic Flare combo. If they do that, they start the fight 4v5, and then it's so much easier for them to get things going.
Yeah, and when they tried to do that, they ended up clumping up and got caught out. Oh, Skywrath Mage walks straight into the smoke. Coming out from K5, and he should die, or will he? 4-step away towards the north, 4-step by the Lich. Everybody's 4-stepping. Chain Frost committed to this one. They get him. Chain Frost not necessary, as the Maelstrom proc will be enough, as jump in on the Eidolons. They're trying to chase down even more as they 4-step in Master Fish, but Black Hole, where's it going to come? It only catches out one hero, however, no, Lonely is also inside of it. Matrix should die inside of this, or will he? Oh, the Adaptive Strike and a little bit more damage from the Razor will be enough, as the Centaur is wreaking havoc. It's a double hoof stomp as well as a double edge, and now a double kill for Dynamite. Lots of doubles going on as Armen's being chased down by these Brewmaster Brewlings. Will the Immolation Aura be enough? As Morphling waveforms forward, the Brewmaster gets one more rock off, and in the end, it is going to be 3 for 3, but Baron caught in a very sticky situation. He has Strength Dwarf as well as plenty of mana. It looks like he's going to use that to his advantage. He gets clapped down by the Brewmaster, able to force step away, and with the help of Cogs from Clockwork, it looks like he'll be just fine. A big courier actually died as a dire courier. It was holding 3,000 gold worth of stuff, is now Baron being chased down by the Brewmaster with a Strength Dwarf. He's going to be able to waveform forward as well as Adaptive Strength. That's going to be a long stun. Scarlet Mage ulti. 3 for 4 the eventual trade, but that courier kill going the way of K5 that had the completed portions of the Aghanim Scepter.
Yeah, Clockwork, I don't think it would have made much of a difference in that particular fight. Of course, the courier died, and he won't have that item for quite a long time. But yeah, if the item was delivered there, then maybe they get the final hero. I don't think it would have mattered. But still, it's a lot of gold going the way of K5, and it kind of makes the fight a little bit more even for them. I would say even maybe a little bit in their favor. However, they ultimately did not kill off the Morphling. He's the one that they really need to bring down because he's the one who's reaping all the benefits from these fights. He's level 16, he's holding on to 2,400 gold. If they don't kill off the Morphling, then even if they take even fights constantly, they still have to worry about the late game.
Yeah, and Morphling getting next to his next big item, or near to his next big item, which is presumably going to be that Ethereal Blade. He has enough for the Ghost Scepter if he wants to pick that one up. But he'll probably just save some extra gold as I lagged up from the server, and oh, this is terrible. It is actually a slideshow. His arrow shot in mid. It is going to land on SMN as soon as I get back into the game, and now with the double Starfall, Scarlet Mage ulti landing on top of mostly the Mirana and the Razor. Mechanism 4 step away. He's still alive, but no, he walks back in to the center, and with the Lich Chain Frost also advancing through, it's only going to be the Razor that's going to fall. Cost them a lot of cooldowns, but in the end, they got the Razor pick.
This Razor's been getting caught out a lot more than normally you see. I mean, maybe he's getting a little bit overconfident with the fact that he has a mech and an Ogre Club. He's like, okay, I'm pretty tanky. I could withstand pretty much anything. Certainly not the case. I mean, Mirana at this stage with the Manta Style plus Maelstrom is still on top of the net worth chart. So they have to respect this Mirana's damage. As Baron now, he's going to replicate out. He'll be just fine. But yeah, Mirana does do a lot of damage at this stage. And she is a hero that does need more farm than others if she's really going to be contributing a lot. And she is contributing a lot because she has more farm than others. The 10-3-11 score kind of helps, and now she's going to be going for a Mjolnir, so even more lightning as she does increase her attack speed a lot with that Hyperstone pickup.
Yeah, also if she gets a couple of lucky procs, it could be pivotal in taking down the Morphling, as breaking that Lincoln Sphere could be very nice to allow them to have the full single target lockdown coming out from the Shadow Shaman. I don't know. That's kind of more a heat of the moment thing. In most situations, the replicant away will keep Morphling safe. He's currently split pushing as a TP scroll and will be able to join the fight if he needs to, but it looks like the tier 2 tower up top is going to die, and with the surfboards committed, it should. It will be delayed for 5 seconds, but oh, here comes the Razor. He's walking very aggressively forward. He doesn't have a whole lot of backup, but there is Lacat. And well, for now, it's just kind of an awkward standoff as the surfboards do get farmed up by CF.
Lacat is really going to wish he had his Aghanim Scepter, but they see Master Risk, and they will stun him out. Can they kill him off? They're actually not focusing on him at all. There you go. Finally brought him down. They take him in the exchange for the tier 2 tower, though, and, well, the hookshot will be thrown right before the Aghanim is delivered, which kind of sucks. But I think, all things considered, Cafeteria Fresh are going to be okay with that. Obviously, losing your tier 2 tower is not ideal, but I don't think they were going to save that tower anyway. They get something, at least.
Yeah. I think that pretty much sums it up. At least they got the Shadow Shaman. Yeah, for now. Potential jump in as Razor chasing down center with the ultimate. He should be able to get out there pretty free as Lacat. He has a hookshot coming up for cooldown 10 seconds. But since he doesn't have the Aghanims delivered, won't be available just yet. And well, Brewmaster might be the target of the next jump in as Scarlet Mage, he's there with the silence. He will be able to get it off, but they don't have enough damage here. With Plasma Field, they jump in looking for a black hole, potentially not going to throw it out as they don't need it. The damage is enough. Is Razor, he's just chasing down everybody. Potentially a little too aggressive, but they won't be able to make a turn on him. So that's going to be it. Brewmaster is going to be the pickoff, but Mirana is split pushing bottom and getting some damage on the tier 2 there. They TP back with the Razor, but not a chance of catching up with Matrix.
Clockwork constantly looking for angles in order to hook shot in. This guy is pretty tanky at this stage, especially if Razor does get his mech off, though Razor is nowhere to be found as he does get hit with an arrow. SMN once again. What are you doing, bro? You're killing me. He's going to pop the mech and try to bottle this damage up, but the leap forward from the Mirana is another free kill for her. Everyone's going to try to collapse in, though. There is the hook shot in, and the Mirana already used the leap. Will get caught in the cogs and the pulse. It will be a 1-for-1 trade as actually, yeah, it will just be a 1-for-1 trade in the end. So Cafeteria Fresh got to be okay with that, I suppose. The Razor at this point is pretty much expendable. As long as the Morphling doesn't die, they'll be fine. However, The Centaur coming in, he will get hook shot straight off the bat, and Malphite stun. Morphling gonna go to town now as he does Force Staff his way up to the high ground. The Cog's not really helping there, but Lacat will jump forward with his own Force Staff and kill off the Centaur with 2 more right clicks. Master Risk gonna try to escape, but the Mystic Flare says, no, you can't leave. They get 3 Cafeteria Fraiche, and, well, the rest of K5, they are nowhere to be found.
Yeah, so at the end of the day, that's going to be a beneficial trade for them, especially since they got the Brewmaster earlier on. And now, Roshan, although it was gotten earlier, this one should be a little bit cleaner if they decide to go for it. For now, it is going to be Enigma picking up the makings of what looks to be an Aghanim Scepter. Now, Aghanim Scepter Enigma is an item that you usually don't see, but honestly, I think it's quite undervalued. With Midnight Pulse on the ground as well as the Aghanim Scepter, if you get the full 7 seconds, that's going to be, let's see, 14% of their maximum HP times 7. It's going to absolutely demolish anybody in there, regardless of how much HP they actually have. So yeah, with all of these items that the Enigma has, he's pretty much a walking black hole, but that's completely fine when you're Enigma. Well, Roshan down to about half health. K5 aren't really close, but if they jump in, they could potentially contest this. Let's see if they're going to be able to get there fast enough.
Aghanims on Enigma, I would say, is probably the strongest Aghanims upgrade, like as far as raw power level is concerned. It gets a little bit awkward because you want your Enigma to have stuff like Shiva's or Sheepstick or something like that, which is going to be a little bit more consistent because Black Hole still has that really long 180-second cooldown. You can make it as powerful as you want, but if it gets canceled or anything, then you're going to be really sad. So yeah, I would love to see it with the Midnight Pulse on the floor just completely destroy someone, especially when that's amplified by the likes of an Ancient Seal or a Ghost Scepter. That would be just absolutely delightful to see. But I don't know if that's going to happen in this game because, again, Black Hole, it's a hard skill to land correctly.
Yeah, I don't know, if they really want to commit fully to this Black Hole, they could put the Lincoln Sphere into Black Dynamite, and at that point, when he has the BKB, there's nothing that can cancel it, so, I don't know, there's a potential, even if he doesn't catch the Lich, to still be able to find a really good one. I don't know, I'm hoping for the 5-man Black Hole of Midnight Pulse and Aghanim Scepter ulti, but I doubt we'll see it. For now, it is going to be a smoke up from both teams, presumably. And no, that's just the Invis on the clock. They haven't smoked up just yet. They're looking for a gank onto this Morphling. He has a replicate out, and I think he's going to be just fine, and he might just go straight to his replicate now. Yep, there you go. Gank failed.
I mean, it's a good attempt from K5, though they will be forced back, I think. They could try to make this a little bit of a race, but already Cafeteria Fraiche are putting a lot of momentum down towards bottom. They have the Aegis on the Razor, and well, he's definitely going to get some value out of it. Eye the Storm, for whatever reason, I don't know why this is, but it does persist when you are respawning due to the Aegis. It's like one of the weirdest interactions in the game. I would even go so far as to say it might be a bug, but whatever, man. They will go for the bottom tier 2 as K5, they're just going to go right up the mid lane and try to force the CF side back, and they will be successful in doing so because they have to respect this level 2 Serpent Ward.
Yep, currently they do have the Razor as well as Morphling down in bottom, but the Serpent Ward's already chipping away at the tier 3 tower. For now, that's going to be the damage of it, is they don't really want to clump up because with that Aghanim Scepter, Black Hole could hurt a whole heck of a lot. So K5 have been repelled and they're going to lose their tier 2 tower. So well played by CF all around the map. They did sustain about half damage to their tier 3, however.
Lacat wants in on someone, though. He can't see anybody. He does have an Observer Ward, and the missile will spot out the Mirana. I think she's a little bit too far away, perhaps. Yeah, I think she was. But either way, oh, he's going to find someone. He's going to catch the Lich. But I don't even think that was necessary because Baron saw him first, shotgunning that Lich down.
Yep, I don't know. Poor Lich. It's so hard to be a support up against a shotgun Morphling. It's just too much damage going your way, especially when you don't have the best farm to combat against that. He does have an urn. He does have an urn as well as a point booster, which is some HP, but it's not enough when you have both of those heroes jumping on you. And CF will strike back again in mid lane with another tier 2 tower. The only one standing on both sides is in their off lane, but they're not going to stop here with the Eye of the Storm on the Razor. They are going to start chipping at the tier 3, but for now, they might decide to back off, but no, SMN, he's just kind of chilling very deep into enemy lines, forces the buyback out of Lich, and I think that's going to be it.
Cafeteria Fraiche, they have all the time in the world. However, they are currently sitting under an Observer Ward, and I think they should know about this. They do have a gem on the Enigma, I believe. Yes, gem is on him. So they'll, at least force back the buyout from the Lich, which is, a win in and of itself. It's more gold that the Lich is not going to have to spend towards stuff like the completed Aghanim Scepter for those infinite bounces, which I'm assuming is what the point booster is for. It's going to be that and not a Bloodstone. Either way, they're just going to chill up on this little high ground area and let the Morphling do his split pushing and everything and hope for someone to walk up here. But K5, they're pretty much stuck in the base. Even though Cafeteria Fresh aren't getting kills off of that, the fact that K5 are stuck in their base is a pretty big win for them.
Yeah. I don't know, what can still hope for Scotty Lich, but I don't know, it's more than likely going to be the Aghanim Scepter. For now, it is going to be Fresh sitting in bottom as they have the completed BKB on the Morphling. He's pretty much unkillable at this point. With BKB Lincolns as well as Strength Morph, there's very little that K5 can actually do to burst him down.
And Cafeteria Fresh, once again, they're going to push the bottom lane now. At the very least, this is to force TPs back, and I think they could definitely do that. They could just force the TPs and then back off, because they're not in any rush to actually get this going. They will jump in, though, on Master Abyss with the hook shot, instantly blow him up. Actually, the Ethereal Blade used kind of unnecessarily. There's the split from the Brewmaster, but he's very far away from everyone. He's going to throw the rock onto I don't know who, because it was dodge. SMN still standing strong with that Eye of the Storm. There's no Chain Frost just yet, but there's a stomp. Where's the Chain Frost? Throw it. There we go. It's going to bounce pretty well. It's going to go into clinch, but then Black Dynamite takes it up north. That's going to be the end of that. Baron with the BKB, plus the cat in his. They're going to try to go for Juicy in the corner. They will bring him down. Now Black Dynamite with the Black Hole, catching Lonely, plus Matrice. Can they bring these two heroes down? Looks like Lonely for sure will go down as Van Ark does jump forward to get the kill on Skywrath Mage, as well as the Enigma. They just can't get kills onto anyone. They need more damage onto the Centaur, but he's ethereal. Now the Plasma Field will kill him off in the end. Lonely up on the high ground. Looks like he's still alive, but another hook shot from the Clockwork will come up shortly. He's going to throw it and whiff. That's fine, though, because they still have a 3-for-2 advantage, though they're not too healthy. They'll have another Eye of the Storm in 10 seconds, plus the mech at around that time. I think they can keep going.
They're going to back off Arrow. Canceled that TP.
I think that arrow might have just forced them to go back in, because, like, screw it, we can't retreat, might as well just go back in. Eye of the Storm once again active, and Lonely looking for a jump in. However, Baron does get hexed, has a shotgun available, but he can't get a chance to use it because Master Risk has him in the shackle. The cat does not have enough mana for a hookshot as Razor does get focused down. Shadow Shaman will secure that kill. Now the cat trying to run away with the phase boots, plus the battery assault slowing down Lonely just a little bit. He needs another force staff, but I don't think that's going to happen. He needs 10 seconds, the cat, but he's run out of time. Cafeteria Fresh, they stay for way too long, and they get punished.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I don't know. That arrow might not have hit the Razor at the end of the day, but still, he needed to dodge it one way or another. Mirana is hitting pretty hard at this point in the game with the Crystals, as well as the other items that she has up. She has an Ultimate Orb in her inventory. This could be for a Lincoln Sphere, so she doesn't get blown up by the Morphling, or it could just be for some more straight-up tank with a Scotty, or even a Scythe of Ice I wouldn't be entirely opposed to on Matrix.
Yeah, really all the Ultimate Orb items are pretty good on Mirana. Like, there are Ultimate Orb items that are better on her and ones that are worse, but really no matter what route she goes for, she's going to be able to contribute quite a bit to her team. Yeah, I wouldn't actually mind seeing a Scythe of Vice, although there is still a BKB plus a Lincoln Sphere on the Morphling. I guess having more things to cut the Lincoln Sphere is nice. I want to say it's just going to be a Scotty, though. Just get that additional aggression out.
More than likely, it is going to be a Scotty. I think that's probably your safest bet. Yeah, gives you a little bit more tank, gives you a little bit more damage, as well as the ability to chase some people down after the team fights are over, which is kind of nice, especially on a ranged hero. But for now, both teams are just kind of going to chill as we wait for the Morphling, presumably to get up his next item. Manta Style, do you think?
Manta Style will be really good. Butterfly will be really good. Hell, anything that gives him plus agility will be really good. I think his Ethereal Blade can stand to grow just a little longer, just a little more. He has to deal with now Centaur holding a hood, which is going to be turned into a pipe shortly enough. So really, any damage item from the Morphling is going to be a really useful tool. I think mostly Cafeteria Fresh, though, they're going to wait for this black hole to be ready. Morphling's putting a lot of pressure up on the top lane while the rest of them mobilize down bottom. They're going to start looking for a fight, and with the Rocket Flare scouting everything out, they're going to, at the very least, pressure the K5 team back, because Morphling still doing his thing. He sees the Mirana. Let's see if he's going to test the waters with a shotgun, or if you're just going to pull back. He will fall back for now. I kind of wanted to see him go and just see how much damage he could do.
Yeah, I don't think it would be a kill, but I don't know. It's always interesting to see. For now, K5 are going to start grouping up. It looks like they want to make an aggressive move onto this Razor, but SMN has some backup. But for now, the Clockwork as well as the Enigma have backed off, and now SMN, he's going to get Blink clapped on, now held by his shackles. The 4-staff support comes out from Clinch, and he'll be a little bit safer, but now with the follow-up, with the Skywrath Mage ulti dropping onto the center, he's dropping very fast, even with the Hood of Defiance towards the pipe. So for now, it's a 1-for-1 trade with the Brewmaster split already being used. He's mismicroing a little bit. The Red Panda being ripped to shreds by Baron. Oh, Enigma He's slowed up Master Wrist. How'd you miss that hook shot? He is going to avoid the Shadow Shaman for now. Let's see. He has another one coming off a cooldown fairly shortly. And we have a blink on the Enigma. They won't be able to catch any of these TPs out. And in the end, 1-for-1 is the damage.
They might catch the Brewmaster. Baron still going for it. Has a waveform plus the Ethereal Blade. And Lacat actually catches the friendly Morphling. But I don't think Lonley is going to escape. He's going to run straight into clinch with another Arcane Bolt. He's going to jump away. But the concussive shot, I believe, is what killed him. He does drop, and he loses the gem as well. So I think K5, that was kind of unlucky because the first Chain Frost bounce, he threw it, and then it bounced up to the Skywrath Mage, who was very far north in that fight. So there was only one bounce at the end of the day. So they take a pretty poor fight, but they do take out the Razor. So the pushing isn't going to be that strong for K5, but I don't think they're really going to care too much about that because Enigma still has a black hole. So if K5 want to force the issue, the Enigma has a really strong response. And Baron still with that Ethereal Blade active. The Shadow Shaman can't afford to get close. Even the Mirana at this stage, sitting in the Midnight Pulse, is going to eat the Ethereal Blade Blast as she did pick up the Lincoln Sphere. So keeping herself safe there. I guess the Scotty wouldn't have done that for her. But for right now, K5 kind of stabilized, but they're still in a little bit of trouble as this siege is going to continue for a little while longer.
Yeah. I don't know, for now it's just kind of the waiting game until something actually happens. Lincoln Sphere is currently on Vanguard as the arrow is thrown, doesn't land on anything. Yeah, both teams are ripping through the creeps fairly quickly, so it's up to CF to wait until they're able to get another wave, but as it stands, if K5 leave one of their heroes out into the other lanes to push out, they're going to be in a lot of trouble. Black Dynamite's going to use his Blink Dagger, and in the end the Morphling backs off to farm some Ancients. So the siege is going to be delayed at the very least, because CF want to pick up some farm that's on the other portions of the map, and potentially Roshan.
Yeah, once again, they're in no rush. Their Morphling can only get bigger from here on out. Still has 2 item slots to make some huge advantages, but looks like K5 side, they're going to see Baron and will force some damage onto him. He's going to just barely dodge a hoof stomp. Well played by him, but jump forward from Master Fraiche will instantly get silenced and misdeclared. He's going to drop in an instant. Baron, though, wasting a shotgun for that. He's taking a lot of damage to this Mirana. He might even drop to this Mirana, and he's going to try to run away. He will wait for him as the Skywrath Mage gets caught trying to TP out of there. SMN, now in a very awkward position in the Roshan pit, will also drop. That's a free 2 kill for K5, though they do give up the Shadow Shaman in exchange. Lacat is going to teleport out, and we can just see how much damage this Mirana is doing. Morphling, purely on the defensive, needs to spend some of this gold, though I think he's saving for buyback, which is the good decision. They can't really afford to straight up fight this Mirana at this stage without a black hole.
Yeah, pretty much, and we haven't seen a black hole for quite some time. Razor by his back, but the tier 3 tower is probably going to die as a black hole on the backline. Sky's out Lonely as well as Matrix. They throw the Lich Ultimate the way of the other target, but he is going to be forced to cancel out as Baron is taking a lot of damage in the end. Nobody's really died just yet. Everybody's very low, however. If the Mon is actually able to get some uptime on these auto attacks, it could be huge. He doesn't have a lead for another couple of seconds, and for now, black hole down. I don't know, K5 might have just found a pretty big opening.
Yeah, CF, they spend so much in order to get into that fight. Black Dynamite using his BKB. Now it's down to a very dangerous 5 seconds. They use the black hole. They get a buyback from the Razor, and Baron, fortunately for him, doesn't end up dying. But K5 looks like they've had enough of that. If they had a split on Brewmaster, maybe they would continue to force the issue, but they're going to be okay with the damage that they've caused, knowing that for another 2 minutes or so, the black hole is going to be unavailable for Cafeteria Fresh. But they do have the Roshan advantage still, and Morphling, well, he's holding on to an ultimate orb, so it looks like it will potentially be that Manta style or the Scotty. Really, again, ultimate orb items, they're all very powerful, so it doesn't really matter in the end. But Roshan is probably going to be the next objective for Cafeteria Fresh. They have a good amount of damage, and, well, if they had Eidolons, it'll be a little bit safer. But K5, they're definitely looking to fight this one out. They have a Chain Frost, which is devastating the Roshan pit. Now the arrow connects onto clinch. They're going to go for him straight away, but the Midnight Pulse is already down the floor. There's the Chain Frost, will not bounce a single time. The Midnight Pulse absolutely destroying the K5 side. Shadow Shaman does pick off the Shadow Shaman. The Skywrath Mage in the meantime, he does drop the wards onto Black Dynamite, has no black hole. Now the Cog's going to catch Black Dynamite as these Razor are also going to go down. Black Dynamite going to try to escape. Baron's going to come in and try to get as much done as he can, but he just doesn't have enough damage. Mirana completely unscathed during that entire fight, firing those arrows away. And CF, they might just lose Raxes here.
Yeah, buyback forced up by the Enigma and the Morphling here, and well, that is going to be enough to back K5 off. However, they can go into the Roshan pit with the Daedalus nearly completed on Matrix. They should be able to take this. Yeah, I don't know. It was just so awkward how CF have been fighting, and although we said that they had the late game advantage, not when Mirana is a full item ahead of the Morphling, and when Morphling's saving for buyback and doesn't have anything else completed. With the Lincoln Sphere as well as BKB, sure, he's not dying, but with only the Ethereal Blade at this point in the game, it's just not enough, it seems. With Mirana with a Lincoln Sphere, he can't burst her down because one of the targets, or one of the shots is already blocked, as well hookshot into the pit, force staff up to the high ground. That was a very interesting hook coming out from Lacat, but he will back off.
I think he just saw the cheese on the floor and wanted to see if he could grab it, but Brewmaster was quick enough to pick that one up, so K5 nothing but wins. Their Mirana really pulling through with some big damage, though she is, for the moment, completely 6-slotted. She can eventually get another item in order to replace the Aegis, which will eventually be used, and what do you think that item is going to be? Just like a butterfly or something like that?
I would like to see Butterfly. I think it's just a great item overall. A lot of what she has to worry about in the damage department is from the Morphling, but then again, I wouldn't be opposed to a BKB. I think just avoiding the silence and the damage from the Skywrath Mage and just the latent damage from the Razor and what have you would be pretty solid as well. Yeah.
I think another thing that's kind of going wrong for Cafeteria Fresh, like besides the fact that they're fighting without black holes, that's kind of their hand just being forced, is that they're not really getting the initiations that they want from Lacat anymore. Like, he had some really good initiations previously, and off of those fights where he managed to get someone of the cogs and the Mystic Flare and then stuff like that, that's where they've gotten their biggest wins, the Cafeteria Fresh side. But that just hasn't happened lately, and I think that's somewhat to be attributed to the fact that there are 1, 2, 3, 4 staffs on the K5 side, so initiation from Clockwork is suddenly not as strong, and without that, they don't really have any other ways of starting fights. K5, though, with the Blink Dagger 4 staff on the Centaur, with arrows, with Blink Brewmaster, they could start fights very easily.
Yeah, I don't know, there's just very little that's Cafeteria Fresh can do at the moment. They need to wait until their Razor can really get fully online, but at 5, 12, and 14, this Razor's been called out so much. As a core, he's the one with the most deaths. The only one who's beating him in that department is the Shadow Shaman with 14. But once Shadow Shaman drops his wards in the teamfight, his contribution is pretty much over. Razor needs to stand in the middle of it in order to get his damage off, and he just hasn't been able to do that.
His net worth is right above a couple of supports in Lich, Skywrath, as well as the Shadow Shaman. So this dude is pretty poor. 12 deaths will do that to you. They're going to group up on top lane, but K5 looks like they're ready to fight this one as they do pop the Moonlight Shadow. They have haste rune on the Brewmaster. They're going to look to jump in on Baron, and Baron does not have Replicate up. Can they stun this Morphling, or will they just go for the Skywrath Mage? Baron is completely surrounded. There's the stun and the damage. Baron's going to get hexed up, and he will get force staffed out. Strength Morph. He might survive, but the shackle from the Shadow Shaman now as Mystic Flare does get dropped onto Master Risk. There's the Midnight Pulse, which will do a little bit of damage to the cat trying to escape with his BKB, but Matrice still doing a lot of damage with the Daedalus in tow. SMN now being focused by the Brewlings, but the Serpent Wards do get dropped. Vanart can jump forward, try to kill off that Razor with Double Edge, but he gets silenced, but he cheesed up in the last possible moment. It looks like it won't matter in the end. Gem of the True Sight on the ground. Serpent Wards will do pretty much nothing as the backdoor protection still active. Cafeteria Fresh, they take the messiest fight of all time, but they end up walking away with a 1-kill lead off of that, so they can't complain.
Yeah, Morphling is so lucky he had that 4-staff backup. Without that, he would have died for sure. And even with it, it was really close. He escaped back into the base with very little. Yeah, so in the end, 0 for 1, and Tier 3 tower looking healthy, so Cafeteria Fresh, a new lease on life after that push.
It's not too much to be happy about, though, because still they are very behind because Mirana is just so stacked at the moment. Like, the golden experience earned, it's negligible at this stage. Like, it's near 0 for both of them. But the farm, the way it's distributed on the K5 side is just so much better. Mostly farm on the Mirana. Morphling does have quite a bit as well, but he actually doesn't have this gold that he has isn't really translating into anything. Like, an Ultimate Orb is one of the least cost-effective items in the game. And just Ethereal Blade not being able to insta-gib someone like a Mirana is really hurting him, as now the arrow will be thrown. Looks like it will miss, but Morphling can't get kills on who he really wants to, and at that stage, he has just 2 defensive items in his inventory, so he's going to stick around in the fights, but not for very long, because he's not doing any damage to kill off this Mirana in a duel.
Yeah, Lich used his ultimate in mid to counter push out a little bit. I think it's fine, especially once you have the level 16 ultimate in order to do so, especially with Axe when you have infinite bounces. It's kind of similar to the way a Jakiro could use Macro Pyre. where you're just able to use it with that minute cooldown. You pretty much have it in all of your team fights available. Roshan is not going to be there, but they group up inside the Roshan pit in order to smoke up, and Cafeteria Fraiche looking for a pick-off here. There's lines drawn on the map coming out from the Lich. I think they know what's up with the Clockwork scouting out.
Shadow Shaman is the only one who could possibly go down, as they will not spot him with that rocket flare. So, oh, well, blind hookshot anyway, but it's Aghanimed, it's fine. They're going to run into the Centaur, it looks like. Lacat will spot that one, but instantly the blink away, as Centaur will keep himself safe. Cafeteria Fraiche, they find themselves all in the mid lane, but if they go for a straight push, I don't think that's going to end very well for them, because that's where about top. Latrice is still up there, has Boots of Travels on this Mirana with another 4,200 gold in the bank. Yeah, this is looking really bad for Cafeteria Fraiche. They need more items on this Morphling. They need more survivability on this Razor. But those items just aren't coming up.
Yeah, and, well, for now, they made a move that I like. I think going for a pickoff there is a good choice, but they just aren't able to find it with the way that K5 are positioned. And, I don't know, good game sense coming out from the Lich. One calling the shots to say that they're in our jungle, but in the end, up top is where CF are going to be completely forced to move up, and really this Razor has nowhere on the map to farm. He's managed to find himself like 210 CS, but it's not really what they can afford to do when they need this Baron to also get items on the Morphling. Yeah, it's pretty scary for them at the moment.
They just have to hope and rely on the fact that they have an Enigma. Black Hole is always going to be that skill that you can never underestimate. You never ever count out a team that has a Black Hole, so if K5 slip up in their positioning just for a second, they could get severely punished. But for now, they're going to go all onto the bottom lane, and we'll look to take down this tier 2 tower with Matrice dishing the damage with the Manta-style illusions. Waveform won't even clear off those illusions, as Baron will eventually clear off the wave, but they're going to look to initiate perhaps on this Morphling. They could go in. There's the blink in clap, and he gets forced out the wrong way. Baron going to get focused down with the Chain Frost. They will kill him off with catching and jump in, but instantly he jumps out with the BKB clinch. Will be the one to drop in, and now Lacat trapped in his cogs. He's going to go down as well. That's 3 for nothing. K5, they're going to keep going because their Mirana, though not the healthiest, is still more than capable of doing some damage, especially now she's picked up an Eagle Song for herself. Cafeteria Fraiche, their Morphling is going to buy back, but they need a Black Hole here, and it needs to be miraculous.
Oh, he might find it when he catches out 4. The Shadow Shaman, the only one survived, but without the BKB. Oh, Black Diamond, he's going to get caught out with the Hoof Stomp as well as the Double Edge going his way. They have the mechanism for a little bit of extra sustain with the pipe. Baron's just not doing enough damage. Lonely inside the enemy base, and Razor's being focused down. He dies too quickly. Baron's alive, and so is the Enigma. Buyback forced out by the Razor. Baron, he's just hexed up, and now the Hoof Stomp follow up with the arrow on top. He's going to die back for the Morphling, and I think that's almost game. With 117 seconds without a Morphling, K5 can just back off, heal up a little bit, and then go for a refresh. There's very little stopping them now.
Yeah, Juicy does have 2 more earn charges, which will be most likely focused on that Mirana. That Black Hole was really nice until you realize that the Enigma didn't pop his BKB beforehand. He also didn't have the Midnight Pulse on the ground, so it wasn't actually doing any damage. SMN is going to try to put up a front, but now with Lacat jumping in, this is not a fight that Cafeteria Fraiche can actually fight, as Lacat does get forced out almost immediately. Lonely in the corner will try to hide and teleport out. Lacat stunned up as the Static Charge of Centaur Warren actually doing some pretty good damage. He'll keep himself safe. It looks like everyone from K5 will successfully back out, but SMN chasing a little bit too far perhaps. He's going to successfully back off, and then we'll go right back in for Master Risk. One more Arcane Bolt should kill him off. SMN very, very weak, but he will be fine as the pipe does save the Shadow Shaman, but it won't save him forever. He's going to go down in the end, and it looks like that's about it. Everyone from K5 does get out, and crucially, Cafeteria Fraiche, they hold on to their Raxes. However, they're falling further and further behind. Mirana with that Butterfly. Jeez, she's doing some serious damage in these fights.
She is completely capped. They might not be able to take another set of another barracks, or rather their first barracks is mid still standing actually. Just 2 tier 3s taken by K5 before the Morphling's back online, but if they kill him one more time, that'll probably be game. It was a good defense coming out from CF. Unfortunately for K5, they didn't have enough earn charges or ways to sustain through that. But yeah, I think it's making this game very hard for Cafeteria Fraiche at this point. The item progression on the Morphling has stopped for quite literally the last 20 minutes or so. He hasn't been able to pick up anything after that ultimate orb. He's had to buy back twice.
And not only that, but also the Razor hasn't gotten a single item for, as you said, about 20 minutes now. Whereas the Mirana has steadily been building items. She's now completely 6-slotted. The Brewmaster has completed up a Shiva's Guard plus an Assault Cuirass, so he's been getting a lot in these fights. The Centaur hasn't been getting all that much. The Shadow Shaman, though, with an Aghanim Scepter, is now going to slowly work towards your Fraiche Orb. I don't think that's going to come up in the end. It'll just take a little bit too long, but regardless, these big items are coming up for K5 and Cafeteria Fresh. They have pretty much stalled out as far as items are concerned. Morphling has the same thing that he had in his inventory 20 minutes ago, and, well, when you're going up against a 6-slotted Mirana, that's just not going to cut it.
Yeah, I mean, we said it before. Oh no, Arrow catches out Baron. He's 4-stepped away. He should be fine. 2-3 tower is being chipped down from the low ground of Matrix. And, well, it's taking a decent amount of damage, although the misses are delaying it a little bit. Ethereal Blade, or possibly Adaptive Strike used to pop that. That was the Adaptive Strike. Gronas has a lower cooldown. That's why Baron used it. But yeah, she'll be able to leap away just fine. And the siege is going to continue. I think this tier 3 is not going to stand very much longer, as we're just waiting for the initiation. Black Hole is back off of cooldown, and that's really the dream for CF. They need a perfect Black Hole. Oh, hookshot on the Matrix in the backline. So Sky's ulti. No, she's 4-staffed out to safety. They try to go on Lonely, but he's going to be able to get split off, although S-Man's stealing a decent amount of damage away from him, but he's going to be stunned up and just can't stand up to the right-click damage. Mirana actually stopped right-clicking for quite some time. That's 110 seconds without the Razor. 4v5 this fight is going to be as Shadow Shaman drops his wards, and now the, I don't know, Creep Wave is down, and the, Glyph is only going to delay the inevitable as Morphling flying up the air inside the Cyclone. Range barracks down, melee barracks soon to follow. Matrix with the Lincoln Sphere. It's going to be popped, and, well, they took their prize, and K5 probably going to back.
K5's positioning was so good. Black Dynamite, he didn't have his Blink Dagger up to get in there for the majority of that fight because he used it to escape from that first initiation on the Razor. But when he did have that Blink Dagger open for a Black Hole, there was just no way he could have gotten even 2 players within that Black Hole. It just wasn't there. K5 were positioned perfectly. They didn't give the Enigma a single opportunity, and that's just really smart play from them. If they continue to do that, then the Enigma's Black Hole is going to be pretty much inconsequential for the entire fight because he can't get a good one. He'll have to eventually just throw it out, but they'll have to layer up with the Morphling perfectly, and even then, I don't even know if Morphling has what it takes in order to kill someone anymore. I mean, the resistances coming out from the Brewmaster with that Assault Cuirass is huge, plus the fact that Mirana has dodge. Like, you could possibly kill a Shadow Shaman or a Lich or something like that, but then you've only killed a Shadow Shaman or a Lich. Like, the Morphling's still going to be focused down by the Mirana. You have to focus these high-priority targets and kill them off, but you can't kill them off. The Morphling is just not contributing anything anymore.
Yeah, Lich, I love this item choice coming out from him. You were talking about Refresher earlier, but he picks up a Vlad's. Even more aura for his team, and I think it's really underrated, especially when you have a ranged hero as your main carry. With 200 base damage, Mirana, that's going to add an extra 30 to each of those right clicks coming out from her, and even more effectively with the crit also on top of that. Yeah, I think it's just a really solid item if you want to end the game now, which it looks like K5 want to do.
I think it's about time because Mirana is not going to get any stronger. I mean, she has more money than God. She could buy back and then some, but unfortunately, that's just not going to cut anymore because you want to end the game as soon as your Mirana is 6-slotted in. Well, that's what they're going to do. There's a Hardened Centaur, so his tanky front line is definitely going to be there, and now they're going to look to take down their second set of Raxes. They've already secured top. They have the Serpent Wards available once again. This is level 3 Serpent Wards with an Aghanim bonus, so they're going to be hitting for about 130 a pop. That's a lot of damage going towards these Raxes. If they focus on the range Rax, they'll very easily be able to take it out. But in the meantime, they will drop the Serpent Wards plus Illusions on the mid and then go in for bottom. There's initiation. They will instantly kill off the Skywrath Mage as now the split focusing on to SMN. The cogs are up, but they won't do a damn thing because Matrice is still focusing the Raxes. There's a 2-man Black Hole with the Mystic Flare. Mirana will go down. It's about time. Juicy will also fall. The Brewmaster and Centaur still alive, but Brewmaster trying to get his way out of here. Might have a chance to blink out, but no. They will actually kill off the Brewmaster straight up, but they lose 2 melee Raxes. They make a defense, kind of, but now hookshot in. They caught Master Risk again. He'll force staff his way out, but the cat will force staff right in pursuit. I don't think he's going to get this kill, though he does have another hookshot in just a couple of seconds. Master Risk probably not going to escape, so this is Cafeteria Fresh's big chance to get something. But Mirana has a buyback. Brewmaster has a buyback. They're just going to force out these buybacks, which is a slight win, but it's not good enough for them because they are very, very close to Megas.
This is go time for Cafeteria Fresh. They need to win the game immediately. Buyback from Mirana. Buyback on every single hero that's down. If K5 wanted to spend those, they could actually engage into this, and if CF lose a fight right now, it's all over. They need to take not just a lane of racks, they need to go tier 3 and then throw in, it seems. Especially with the creep switching into the base, they need to end this now. Arrow to fly, not going to land on anything. They have a scythe on the Enigma, they're going to be able to get the tier 3 fairly easily. Matrix gets his Lincoln's popped also on Baron, but the double hoof's not going to catch out S-Man as well as Baron. Baron's being focused down by the crits with the Lich ultimate bouncing back and forth to S-Man as well as Baron. They're going to be able to get the kill on the Morphling, and now the Razor is going to bounce back to the Enigma as well, and now the slowdown with Shiva's Guard. Mirana is just tearing everybody on CF a new one. That's 4 heroes down, and for all intents and purposes, I'll call that GG as TP up into the top from Mirana. They have a buyback from the Morphling, they need to spend it now, and yeah, they need to kill this Mirana.
Mirana is currently completely without support, and Cafeteria Fresh, they are all forced to use their buybacks. I don't know what Clinch is really wanting to do here. He's not going to be spotted, fortunately enough for him, but the Moonlight Shadow is there, and Mirana will take down the mid set of range racks and then instantly slide down and then secure the Megas. Matrice still alive as Black Dynamite does jump in with the BKB, however, he does not have a black hole. That's Megas, and K5, they could back off and restore themselves back up to full HP. They lose their Lich as Clinch does get that, almost a solo kill, I believe, but they have the Megas, they just want to mount some sort of defense. Cafeteria Fresh, they have one more chance. This chance is to push down the mid lane and win the game, and that's a pretty tall order.
Definitely is, but it's an order that they're going to have to use as Black Dynamite's forced inside the base. He doesn't have ultimate for another 32 seconds, so he's not going to be available here. We're going to see the really clowny 7-slotted Mirana as she picks up the Necronomicon 3, probably just going to summon those and switch out the item. She actually doesn't have the 3, but only the 2, but without buyback, just get whatever you can to throw at Cafeteria Fresh. Yeah, tier 4, one is down, and one's at half health, not looking too healthy. This is go time. This is go time.
They're just not pushing fast enough. They're going to be going up against 3 levels of book. Maybe they take a Rax here if they get a super lucky fight. They still have a black hole, but if Enigma leaves the base, they will just lose in the straight up base race against these Megas. But here we go. Enigma's coming right in, and let's see if Cafeteria Fresh can make the Hail Mary to end all Hail Marys. They're going to take down the mid lane of Raxes, which is a good start, but now they have to go for GG. Lacat off to the side looking for an angle to initiate. Mirana still alive, but Lich will be up in another 20 seconds. The base of CF is completely in tatters. Baron will now start to focus on the Raxes, but he gets tagged with an arrow. He will instantly get force staffed out, though, so he'll be just fine. The hookshot was actually hit onto Baron as he got force staffed right into the path of that hookshot. The base is slowly starting to fall for Cafeteria Fresh, and the last tier 4 tower is down. They have to make it go right now, but I think it might just be too late. They're going to try to take down this tier 4. Someone's teleporting back, but a huge 4-man hoof stomp coming in from this Centaur. Instantly, Baron is going to go down, and, well, it won't even matter because the Dire Ancient explodes in the meantime.
Yep, Creeps MVP as they're able to clear out the game. Yeah, I've never seen somebody in a professional game come back from Mega Creeps, but in the end, it was a valiant attempt and a good game coming out from both teams. I wouldn't have expected Mirana to outcarry a Morphling, but it happened today. So in an hour and 4 minutes, K5 are going to take Game 1 victory. We'll have Game 2 coming up shortly, but quite a long game to start us off. So thank you for watching. Stay tuned. Game 2 coming up soon, as that will only be the first victory for K5.
Later, guys. GG.
GG.